played when they played last against Wakefield. The defence was unbelievable. The line speed was intimidating, but well, this Hull FC side look a total different side than the one that started the season.
Well, that's an interesting start to the game from the Huddersfield Giants, with Hull FC getting their hands on the ball eventually and almost then losing the ball. A scrappy start.
Wow. Very loose, isn't it, from Hull FC? An unusual kick, not deep, not shallow. Just asked a couple of questions. I think the big one for me is I'm coming into this game driving here, I'm wondering how the Huddersfield Giants will handle the bench of Hull FC. The lads have already talked about Chris Sartai and what a difference he can make to the black and whites, but they've got three other players that can break a game down: Loverdua, Scott Taylor and Brad Dwyer. The Giants have to handle the bench.
Well, not a great start for Hull FC. That kick from Clifford from well inside his own 20 after good opening pressure from Huddersfield and some sloppiness from the black and whites.
Well, it was the pass, I think it was from Liam Sutcliffe from behind the play of the ball, but again I talked about the line speed. That was exactly what they showed last week. Hull choosing to kick, couldn't make any meters, and because of that, look, they've got to defend in their own half here.
Well, both sides going into this game with a bit more confidence after recent victories. Huddersfield looking for 3 wins in a row. Likewise, Hull FC. And it was the victory over Huddersfield back in April that really turned Hull's season around after that really ropey start to the campaign. 5th tackle, and Huddersfield's just outside Hull's 20. And the kick is a high one. And Davy Litton is underneath it and claims the ball. He'll be glad of his first touch of the game under a bit of pressure.
Well, I'm sure that Huddersfield won't underestimate his tender years in the game. He's a great player, especially with those kick returns. Another player that's playing well this year, and he's in good form. Cam Scott, the man who's got the ball.
Playing in the centres this evening. He was in the second row last time out against the Castleford Tigers. For this Hull FC side, here's Darnell McIntosh, once of the Huddersfield Giants. Here's Danny Houghton, never anywhere else but the black and white of Hull FC. And Jake Clifford. That's a good kick into a bit of space, and it's not going to go dead, or is it? No. Great teasing kick, and Sam Halsall at the back.
It was a monster of a kick, wasn't it, from Hull FC? All the chasers, in terms of the discipline, trying to stay on side for the black and whites and put pressure in it. It bounced kindly for the visitors.
Here's Leroy Cudjoe now. Another one of the long servers out there, and in both sides. Jermaine McGilvery is another one of them, 35 years of age. Tui Lolohea, Conan, Chris Hill, lovely ball back to Lolohea, and Lolohea looking for some support, floats the ball over the top to Chris McQueen. They're just inside that Hull 40.
Well, McQueen was looking for a support player. Jermaine McGilvery just a couple of yards too shallow
on the last, and it's Jake Connor who hoists that kick across field, and McIntosh is underneath it, but Jake Bibby is all over him.
It's a terrific start, isn't it, from Huddersfield Giants. Chris Hill, an ever-present for the Giants at the ripe old age of 35, also finds a wonderful offload. And when they're in good attacking positions, the Giants, they put real pressure on those edge defenders. So Cam Scott, Liam Sutcliffe, Jordan Lane, Savelio, going to have a lot of work to do, and what's more important, a lot of decisions to make.
Here's Adam Swift. And Swift playing the ball just on his own 20-metre line. Lingy Sow now to sign a new deal with the Hull club. Jake Clifford, not so. He'll be back to the NRL after this campaign. That kick is a deep one into the hands of Jake Connor. And Connor gives it to Halsall, keeping his place in the side. Sam Halsall, the former Wigan winger. Ian Watson going with him. Eason Masters, the PNG international, not able to get into the side.
Well, he's not afraid to drop some of his big earners, especially in the last few months, looking for that winning combination and the plays that's going to enhance the side and the way he wants them to play.
Go third.
Luke Yates just over the halfway line for the Huddersfield Giants, going into this game 10th in the table. Disappointing campaign so far. That ball very nearly sitting up for Hull FC, but instead it's Cudjoe putting it to Sam Halsall on his outside. Could have been snapped up. Now then, here's Chris Hill hitting that ball at pace. Fash with the tackle. They're only about 5 metres away from the Hull FC line. First opportunity of the game. Clifford right in the face of Chris McQueen.
He did well to take that, McQueen.
Adam Milner, Milner and Yates has put the ball down. Good position for Huddersfield, and they'll be annoyed that they've squandered that.
Yeah, so disappointing. Only they made the mistake here through the captain, Luke Yates, but what about Tui Lola here? When he throws that ball centre field, nearly was intercepted by Hull FC. Could have been problems for Luke Yates and his side. Look at that, he goes for it. Jake Truman just can't quite get hold of it. You don't want to gift the ball to the opposition. That element of risk in the play yet, but you've got to get those passes right.
Not a happy hunting ground in recent years, this, for Hull FC. They've lost in their last 3 league and cup visits to the John Smith Stadium. Last win on this ground, March 2019. But looking for a season double here tonight in front of a good contingent of their supporters. Here is Adam Swift, Hull's top try scorer in all competitions, 15 to his name. And rumoured to be heading to this part of the world for 2024. Danny Houghton, and Houghton looking for a 40-20. It's got good chances, this, but Connor comes across to deny him.
Well, it's a defensive play from Danny Houghton on the third tackle, isn't it? Getting the ball as far away from his try line as possible. And Tony Smith said earlier in the week that he wants his side to have better line speed. He wants his side to be better in contact. They've slipped off last couple of weeks, even though they have got the result.
So Huddersfield with Chris Hill, now Leroy Cudjoe. He made his 350th Huddersfield Giants appearance last week, Leroy Cudjoe. Milner. And then Tui Lola, towering kick from him. David Litton is underneath this one, and the tall Hull FC fullback claims that one confidently.
Just going back to Adam Milner, hasn't he done well coming back into the hooking role? As we know, he was more of a back row player at 13, a running type of forward, and to revert to type. He began his career as a 9, a defensive 9, but with the ability to play as well.
Here's Sutcliffe looking to get away. A little rise in the confidence, but then the pass is another poor one, and it's Litton who has to turn and retrieve it inside his own half. The referees wipe the tackle count clean.
It was touched by Tui Lola here. I think he just reached around to play the ball, made contact with it.
Is Lingy Sao once more, taking it into the heart of the Huddersfield Giants defence, where he's met by Adam Milner. Ball back on the inside. There's no Huddersfield hand on that one. It was just a poor pass.
Yeah, terrible decision that, wasn't it? Terrible decision, having spent virtually no time to our right as we're looking Hull FC. Just enjoying a bit of field position and possession.
Well, normally a lot better than that. The likes of Jake Clifford and Jake Truman, they run the show. And again, that simple pass that just goes to the floor. He's looking for the inside ball to Keita.
Tui Lola then serves that ball up, and Oliver Russell gets a deep kick away, but Litton gathers.
It seems that both sides are just trading sets. I'm not saying both are a bit nervous, but they know what's at stake in this game. Hull FC pushing for the playoffs, and well, Huddersfield not giving up yet.
Cam Scott popping his way towards the halfway line. Back in field is Jordan Lane. Not surprising, these two sides are evenly matched, 10th and 9th in the table.
That's a good carry from Brad Fash. And fighting to play the ball quickly.
Truman, his turn to hoist the kick. And Housel is underneath it.
It's been a good softening up period, this, hasn't it? 10 minutes or so. One thing is for sure, both of these sides like to play with the ball, particularly the way that Tony Smith allows his teams to express themselves, flooding forward with numbers, with support. Sure, we'll see this game open up shortly.
Tony Smith, of course, long association with his Huddersfield club. Back in the early stages of a career, that's a great kick. Connor against his former club, making an impact.
Well, that's what he'll give you. He's kicked it within his own 20. It's gone out in the opposition's 20. He knows exactly how to play the game. Look, he was left out of the team. And I saw him playing in the reserves when they played against Leeds Rhinos. And he's desperate for the opportunity.
Now here's Oliver Wilson. Can Huddersfield capitalise on that 40-20 by Jake Connor, the maverick in this Super League contest? Chris Hill now winding up for a drive and taking on Lingy Sao and taking them with him towards that Hull FC line. Milner weighing up the opportunities. Is Tuilolahea. Jake Connor. Connor fires the pass to McGilvray. McGilvray will bulldoze his way over. There was no stopping Jerry McGilvray. And he gets one try closer to a career 250 with that one tonight. And Jake Connor, his kick set it up, and his pass handed it to Jermaine McGilvray. He still had some work to do.
Well, you know what you're going to get from Jermaine McGilvray. Ultra consistent, but that man, well, he come up with 55 try assists when he was fullback at Hull FC in 2 years, and this is what he's got. This is the side of Jake Connor that you look at and you think, wow, what a brilliant player. And he gets hold of the ball again. You see Tuilolahea go deep into the line. Jake Connor himself goes deep into the line and pulls Sutcliffe in, which in turn means then that Adam Swift has got to go in. And as soon as he does, well, there's space out wide for that man. And like you said, 249 tries built in his career. What a player, what a servant to this club.
Well, Jake Connor looks really comfortable in the role he's been given now. It's took him a little time to find his place and identity within the team environment at the Huddersfield Giants. But there's just a little pump on that ball and just invites the two Hull FC defenders to go for, I think it's Kevin the Garmer, and then finds it Jermaine McGilvray with a delightful pass. He's playing as well as ever, Jermaine McGilvray, another one of the 35-year-olds.
Yeah, he's had his injuries and it's worked his way back to fitness, Jerry McGilvray. The Giants' record Super League try scorer, 193 to his name now. Now Oliver Russell, touchline conversion for him. And from way out wide, that's a great conversion from Ollie Russell. And it's coming up to 14 minutes gone. Huddersfield have a 6-0 lead. Jermaine McGilvray with the try, converted by Oliver Russell. Let's go to the sideline. John Wells.
Yeah, what a career Jerry McGilvray's got. He's still doing it at the top level, isn't he? Just one try needed now for a career 250. His first came for Batley way back in 2008. And just a little nod as well for a man who has been doing it tough. You've been talking about him in commentary. Jake Connor, he was top of that try scoring, try assist chart for Hull FC with 33 last year. Just 5 so far, or 6 now for the Giants in 2023. Let's hope they click into gear for Huddersfield fans.
Hull FC go for the short restart, and it comes up for them. So an opportunity for them to hit right back. It's been a sluggish start from the black and whites, hasn't it? Virtually from the word go.
Well, this is the area of the field where you would imagine that Truman and Clifford will come alive.
Okay to play in the ball. David Litton stepping back in field and almost finding a route to that Huddersfield line. Liam Sutcliffe's pass. Clifford, Islingi Sow. Chris Hill comes to confront him. Milner there as well. Danny Houghton goes to the shorter side. Little kick from Clifford. The ball is ricocheting.
Just loitering
sitting on the ground was Jordan Lane.
Well, he sort of collided with a couple of Huddersfield defenders. I don't know whether he's looking for a penalty. You can see that he goes down a bit too easy for me. If he keeps his run, I think he gets to that ball.
In the end, that just sort of fizzled out.
It was a nice kick from Jake Clifford. I'm not being unkind to Jake Clifford here, but since announcing that he's going to go home at the end of the year, he's just lost his rhythm a little bit within the side. So this could be a perfect opportunity to get back to form and leave Hull FC in the right manner, as his colleague Chris Satai is doing.
Clifford going to the North Queensland Cowboys for the 2024 season. That's a 40-20 attempt. And across comes Litton. No! Litton just manages to save the situation. Did well there.
Well, speed gets him out of trouble on that occasion. And again, good line speed. Look at that. Twinkle toes. To get back in the field, the player makes sure that he doesn't go over that sideline. And they are really hunting with some intent, Huddersfield.
Playing off the back of a good kicking game. Ian Watson mentioned Huddersfield's DNA. Well, that's an integral part of the DNA. Defensively, turning up. 90% of good defence is turning up and being in the right place at the right time. But for the Huddersfield Giants, just competing on every play will serve them well.
Good break, and gives the ball to Swift. And Swift has got the pace, and he's got the try. And Hull FC hit back. Jordan Lane's pass, and Adam Swift takes his tally for the season to 16 in all, 13 in Super League. And Huddersfield, well, just caught napping there. And that's the first time tonight Hull FC have really put things together.
Well, if they needed reminding, the Huddersfield Giants, there it is. Wonderful push play. And another offload again. It's just about support plays. I said before, Tony Smith's sides typically flood forwards, support the ball carrier, and that's a halfback showing good determination. And Jordan Lane sums it up perfectly, and Adam Swift, he doesn't get those wrong. Jermaine McGilvray just can't catch him.
I like the push here from Clifford with Liggy Sowlow. He punches through the line. He's got to give the ball Jordan Lane. Jordan Lane, he'd probably give that ball early, but the exceptional talent over there on the left wing, which is Adam Swift, scores a try against the run of play, really. But it just shows what this black and white side can do.
And it does look a little easier when Jake Clifford goes through, but I think a forward passing a back is almost the wrong way around, isn't it? Adam Swift, 13 tries for the season so far. But it's the wrong way around, so typically as a defender you're thinking, well, a forward's not going to pass to a halfback. And on that occasion, the unorthodox paid dividends for Hull FC.
Liam Sutcliffe from the sidelines with the conversion. And the score's a level. Adam Milner, meanwhile, has left the field for a head injury assessment. A casualty, I think, of that break from Jake Clifford. Well, the Hull FC fans will be thinking, that's more like it.
And hasn't he been a great signing as well? Liam Sutcliffe, creative partner to that man out there who scored a brilliant try last week on the back of a huge run from the kickoff from Chris Satai. He's got the knack of getting in the right place at the right time, the winger.
Jake Connor skinned by his former colleague Adam Swift for that try. Here is Jordan Lane, the man whose pass very precisely delivered, sent Swift on his way. Here is Brad Fash now. Fash offloads in the tackle. Cervello gets it away to Darnell McIntosh. Nowhere for him to go apart from to ground.
Look, you know what Hull are like. They've made the most offloads in Super League. They're a team that express themselves by playing. You know, you've got to be good in contact and wrap that ball up.
Huddersfield Giants support appealing for a obstruction penalty there. Is Litton now. Cousin Jez celebrating with Hull KR with a trip to Wembley looming. And Clifford again looking to break through and very nearly getting away and offloading to Lingy Sao and getting the ball to Truman, and Truman is eventually brought down by Nathan Peets on in place of the injured Adam Milner. And Hull FC finding their rhythm now, and Clifford will kick crossfield. McIntosh will challenge for it, but well played by Sam Halsall.
What a take. There wasn't much difference between the two jumpers and the two catches for that ball. One attacking the ball, one defending his try line, but Sam Halsall, thankfully for the Huddersfield Giants, comes down with it.
So maybe the flow of the game just changing a bit. Hull FC finding the rhythm. Here is Chris Hill now. Over 530 career appearances in the front row, right in the middle of the dark arts.
Yeah, he's done it tough, hasn't he? Chris Hill, he leads with his actions on the field, not by what he says.
Russell launches a kick downfield. It's McIntosh who retrieves it. Yates stops his progress.
He's a great player, isn't he, Luke? Yes, I seem to mention him every time we watch. That's his 16th tackle of the game. Willing worker when it comes to attack and defence. Number 13.
This is the game breaker. A lot would have been said about this man in the build-up to this game. As soon as he gets on.
Houghton, Truman, Clifford rather managing to smuggle that ball out. Litton keeping it alive. Little burst of pace from Joe Cater.
That licence to play, Jake Clifford again. He's causing some problems on the left edge.
4 tackles gone. Burst of pace from Truman and Fash. Oh, where did he come from? And the flash, Brad Fash has scored a try. What a stunning break that was. And Brad Fash gets his 2nd try of the season. And that was a great build-up from Tony Smith's side, but with an unknightly character on the end of it, you'd have to say.
Well, I said they've been encouraged to play, haven't they? And it's the two Jakes, Clifford on the left, Truman on the right-hand side. I said about 10 minutes ago that they're the ones who run the show. The forwards do all the hard work. Brad Fash on the back of signing a new 3-year deal a couple of weeks ago. I think you know what you're going to get from him. He's going to support, he's going to turn up, he's going to carry the ball. He's not bothered to wear a tackle. Well, he scored a try, an important try as well.
Two of my favourite number 13s playing today, Brad Fash and Luke Yates. They look like they should have their own doll, don't they? Their own action figure.
Mind you, Luke Yates was left for dead in that moment, wasn't he?
He bought the dummy, and the passing side contrasts that to about 5 or 10 minutes when the ball went to ground. It's about being on the front foot and committing to that pass.
Liam Sutcliffe again has goal-kicking duties and again succeeds. And from 6-0 down, after a scruffy start, Hull FC lead by 12 points to 6.
Thankful for the Giants. Jermaine McGilvray looks like he's taking his position, ready for this kick-off, but Brad Fash, in many respects, a talisman for his side. Works hard defensively, pushes forward and offers himself an attack and gets just rewards on that occasion.
Stay behind, boys. Time off now.
And for me, the best mullet in Super League.
Ever. ever was, Barry.
Well, I don't know, to wear a nick out, might disagree with that one. Brendan
Well, here he
Tutor.
is.
Brendan Tutor, another one.
Move one, step forward, go one.
Fash playing the ball just a few yards away from his own posts. Here's Andre Cervello now.
Move, hold me.
Hull FC going into this game 9th in the table. Looking up and trying to close the gap on the sides above them. We're all jockeying for position in this Super League table. Quick out, oh, McGilvray. McGilvray was so quick there. Referee says play on.
Oh, I thought that was a knock on.
Sutcliffe who felt that.
Well, there you are.
It was.
I think you're right, Tess.
He's played the advantage, saying that Huddersfield were already offside.
I think that's a mistake, a defensive win for McGilvray.
He'd already called it. He's saying that Tuilola here was already offside. He'd made his mind up. So he'd give the penalty because they were offside.
First penalty of the game, and it goes to Hull FC.
You can see there was a number of them that just weren't quite set with the referee, Aaron Moore, even though he comes in here, closes it down. The ball did go back, and that's why he was playing the advantage as well.
So that penalty gives Hull FC an opportunity. And Fash it is who'll play the ball about 10 metres out, bang in front of those posts. Houghton is Truman, and Satai puts the ball down, and Russell picks it up and launches the counter.
Well, he had to be better than Chris Satai. We give him big raps for creating havoc, but he's got to get hold of that ball, not expect the ball to go out to the back to one of his teammates. Leroy Cudjoe put the pressure on him.
Catalan Dragon player next season, Chris Satai, there he is in the tackle.
Six again, Chris Satai, too slow.
With Matty English now off the bench for Huddersfield. Set restart signalled. Russell back on the inside. It comes to Luke Yates. Hasn't missed a game all season. Durable, tough. Nathan Peets. Russell, little dink into space. Oh, and Tuilola Heyer chasing. Tuilola Heyer getting the try. Davy Litton couldn't deal with it, but did. Tuilola Heyer knock that on. What does Aaron Moore reckon? He thinks it's a try, but it's going to go to his video ref, Jack Smith.
Tackle 2, we've got a try. Comes from McKitchell. Hold the ball on the foot, please. Was it there? Yes, all the chasers are onside. Run this through, please. We're all okay here. Both contesting the ball. That appears backwards off Hull and then the shoulder to shoulder. Always appears off Hull. Can we just have something? Have you got anything tight in on that, please? Just to make sure that it's always off Hull. Both eyes for the ball. It's a contest. If anything, that's off Hull and backwards. Keep going at this point. That's off Hull. It's never touched Huddersfield. And the ball's grounded. Thank you.
Huddersfield hit back then. They couldn't deal with that kick. Davy Litton couldn't get the ball out of play. And Tuilola Heyer pounced to claim his 5th try of the season. Kick to come, we could be all square again.
Well, that try is down to 3 words. Compete for everything. The kick goes up, there's a genuine jostle between the fullback and the standoff. And he never gives up on it, does it? And the awkward bouncing ball, David Litton just couldn't get hold of it, he couldn't kick it. He couldn't get it out of the danger zone. And Tuilola here puts himself in the frame and gets a well-deserved try. Beautiful kick from Ollie Russell.
Yeah, outstanding. Quality player, Ollie Russell. And then on the back of that, Tuilola here, there was a nod, there was a wink. He knew exactly what was coming then from his half-back partner. And they needed that.
Tui Lolohea at half-back again. For the Huddersfield Giants, still no Theo Fage in the Giants' halves. There is Oliver Russell, who's been standoff for the last 5 games. He's kicked 5 goals in each of the last 2 games. So he would be fancied to level the scores here, which he does.
Well, his kicking game is absolutely outstanding. Those young Huddersfield fans enjoying this. Needed their side to be next on the scoreboard. A good head for the game. He spots something, and that's what you like. A lot of people say that this Huddersfield side are conservative, but they have got some maverick players. You don't have to be too conservative when you've got Tui Lolohea and Jake Connor and Ollie Russell in the side. Let them play, let them go out and express themselves. And those 2 players certainly did that in Russell and Lolohea.
Let's go down to the sidelines, here from John Wells.
Yeah, quick update, and it's good news for Huddersfield. Adam Milner's passed his HIA. He's just taken his place on the bench. He will play. I asked him how it was. He just said, I think I hit a knee, but it was something hard. He couldn't tell. Flash, but he's okay.
That's good news. It's just so strange to see Adam Milner in Huddersfield colours. You always thought he was going to be a one-club man in his Castleford Tigers days, but has moved on. Still a lot to offer as well. 31 years of age.
And sometimes at the back end of a player's career, that extra couple of years somewhere else just freshens them up.
Go for in the back.
As Lolohea brings Yates coming back towards the middle of the fields. Peets and Russell. Towering kick, and McGilvray. McIntosh couldn't deal with the ball, and that was going to be a knock-on.
Yeah, well, Aaron Moore made the call that the ball went backwards. I think he got it right as well. You know, he goes up for it, there's some pressure. It's a genuine contest in the
I thought it was a knock-on.
They're just slugging it out.
Hold, go third.
Swift playing that ball. Here is Liam Sutcliffe, has had a fine debut season. Houghton, Truman quickly on, Clifford quickly on, Cam Scott, Housel all over him. That's the 5th tackle just inside Huddersfield territory. Truman's kick. Jake Connor underneath it. Jake Clifford right in front of him.
He thought about that pass then, did you see?
Little lash out from Connor.
He's a temperamental player. When he catches that ball, he cocks it back like he's going to throw a 20-25 metre pass to his winger, but manages to keep hold of it. It's been a high-quality game. Both sides completing around about 80%. Had hardly any handling errors. In fact, the Huddersfield Giants have only made 1.
Looping pass finds Jake Connor, who finds Leroy Cudjoe. And Cudjoe has time to stand. Basketball pass over the top. Back to Connor. 4 tackles gone this set. Connor smuggles the ball out to Tui Lolohea.
It does work when they work in tandem, those 2 players, Jake Connor and Tui Lolohea. When they're fighting one another for the ball, I think that's when it breaks down.
Russell drills a kick into the corner. Davy Litton across to claim it.
And that's a nice kick and chase, isn't it? From Russell, you kick to the corner, you do all the hard work, and then all of a sudden, your teammates now, led by Ngama out wide and Chris McQueen, they've got to affect the next few tackles and make those rucks just a bit slower.
Here is Adam Swift. First half try scorer. First try scorer. Scott Taylor. Another one of the seasoned campaigners out there in his testimonial year. Inside his own 40, playing that ball. Truman, Cervello. When it comes to Donnell McIntosh, that's the 5th tackle just inside their own half. The ball back with Clifford, who manages to get the kick away before Matty English arrives. And that's too strong, and the pressure from English, I think, contributed to that.
That's it. He showed him the studs, didn't he? You know, English He gets off the line, he puts pressure on him. You know that the last tackle, you've got to get in the eye line of either Clifford or Truman. And my English, look at him, he doesn't pull away from it. Could have ended up dangerous, but...
Look how hard he works, Matty English. He does that throughout his game. All the facets of his game, he puts 100% effort. He must run 20 metres there. If he doesn't, then that kick could end up being a lot better and Hull FC get a result off the back of it.
Problem, I think, for Huddersfield, because just out of the shot, there he is. Jermaine McGilvray is limping from the field.
Well, he was getting some treatment before from the physio on his hamstring, wasn't he? He didn't look well then. He looks like he's limping off with it.
He's hopping off now, just at the top of the shot there. Huddersfield in possession, just outside that Hull FC 40. Connor just drops it off.
They're fortunate, the Giants. They've got, of course, Leroy Cudjoe, who can play anywhere in the back division. Sad sight for the Giants fans.
It's another high hanging kick, and Litton under pressure. Somehow, Hull FC come up with it.
Well, Jake Bibby, he's pressured.
That tackle again.
He's pressured Litton every time that ball's gone up, hasn't he?
That's a tackle in the air, isn't it?
To be fair, David Litton just ran into Bibby, really. I think
Bibby's got to time his tackle a bit better.
Well, the Hull FC fans were not impressed with that. Oh, Swift, a little back of the hand pass, finds Jake Truman.
Who now? Go for.
Here goes Brad Dwyer. Up to the halfway line come Hull FC. Their coach is Tony Smith. Down on the sideline, I think. And Tony, what do you reckon of the game so far from the Hull FC perspective?
Yeah, a bit scrappy from us, mate. A bit hit and miss. We've done a few good things with the ball, but yeah, we were mixed up on a few plays and we weren't quite sure of ourselves. But once we got the communication going a bit better, clicked into gear at times.
Some good moments. What's going to be the main message at half-time when you go back in, Tony?
Yeah, well, we're going to need to improve, Bill, if we're going to go on with this game. It's the team who controls the second half is going to make a fist of it. But we've done some okay stuff. A little bit loose at times around the middle in defence, but mostly our defence has been pretty reasonable.
Thanks, Tony.
No worries.
Well, you've done some good stuff there, you lads, because they've got the ball back.
And it's not surprising Hull FC and Tony Smith won't be too bothered. Last week they went in 8-all at half-time. Sorry, not last week, the last game when they played Cast Tigers, it ended up 36-18. Leroy Cudjoe gets up and pleads with the referee.
There was a hand in there, according to the Huddersfield Giants supporters down below us. But Leroy Cudjoe didn't get the decision from referee Aaron Moore. And Hull FC get possession.
Well, we said at the start of the game, this game's really difficult to call, and either side have got to make the right choices with the ball, take advantage of those big moments, and make sure when you defend that you're all switched on, you're all working, you're all communicating. Fine margins, that's what wins you the game.
Scott Taylor taking them all on now. Eventually Matty English goes for the ankles and stops Taylor's progress. Brad Dwyer. Truman on to Chris Satai, and Satai looking for some space to work in, but denied that by Luke Yates. Terrier. Brad Dwyer. Darting run from him, signalling where he wants people running. Ball over the top. Oh, Darnell McIntosh does well to keep it alive. And then it's Russell who I think knocks that on. Or is it a Hull FC knock-on?
You know, Hull FC made the mistake. And Brad Dwyer, this is when he's at his best, and Ollie Russell makes the fatal mistake of going up and just opening that gate, and where he goes through. You can't do that when you're playing against Brad Dwyer. You open up, you show him the space, and he'll take it.
Just for a moment, the opportunity seemed to be there from Darnell McIntosh, but the pass didn't do him any favours.
That's his sweet spot, isn't it, Brad Dwyer? 5 minutes before half-time, just as fatigue, mental and physical fatigue sets in. He's done it throughout his time at Warrington, his time at Leeds, and now in the black and white shirt of Hull FC.
So an opportunity missed for the black and whites then, and Taylor.
Big ferocious shot on English from Taylor.
Matty English back up on his feet, and then Huddersfield have squandered possession. Hull FC have it back.
Lloyd just gets off the line, doesn't he? Tries to bend him in two, hits him with absolutely everything. Big effort just before half-time from that man.
Can the black and whites capitalise? Here's Chris Satai now. Satai playing the ball. 25 metres out or so. Good defence. McQueen and Yates in there. Clifford wasn't going anywhere. Edging their way forward, Hull. Last couple of minutes of the first 40. Dwyer, Truman. Cervello comes back into the middle of the field. We'll try and straighten things up now. It's that McQueen-Yates combination again doing the tackling. Fifth, Dwyer, Clifford, little kick over the top. Cudjoe comes and claims that one.
He did well to ride the tackle then, didn't he, Leroy Cudjoe?
Bearing in mind what we've seen, especially in the Challenge Cup semi-final, I'm surprised we weren't thinking about a drop goal there. It's going to be close, this game, we know that.
Hull are offside.
Oh, Scott Taylor again. He come up with a big shot, didn't he, on English? He's going again, hunting somebody else.
Speaking to your boys.
Do you think the Giants will go for a drop goal test?
There's just enough time. Well, if anybody's interested.
Not from there now.
I'm asking your opinion.
No.
The hoot is going to sound before they can play this ball, I think. Russell might try it from here and sends it sailing across the pitch. And Swift will just go to ground and end the first 40 minutes of 40 minutes. It's been a bit hit and miss, I think.
Yeah, both teams, Ian Watson's men have had good parts, Tony Smith men have had good parts, but not put a clinical 40 together. Let's see what happens in the second half.
Yeah, they both had their moments, but nobody has dominated proceedings so far. 12 points apiece at the break.
Bill, Barry, Terry, thank you very much. The inconsistencies that have haunted both of these sides this season are in evidence again here in the opening game of round 20 of the Betfred Super League. It was Jermaine McGilvery who opened up the scoring after a hugely influential period from the mercurial Jake Connor. Well, after that, Hull FC dragged themselves back into the game with McGilvery off absent. We'll analyse it all after this.
Broughton is positioned deep. That's where they go. The pass is high. Gail Broughton. She's missed. They're going for it here. Back to Lauren Brown for the win. Lauren Brown has kicked the Gold Coast Titans to a golden point victory.
Yeah, the Titans emerging victorious in the Queensland Derby. That's part of our NRLW action we're bringing you here on Sky Sports. And from the NRL, tomorrow we've got the Storm Eels at 11 a.m. on Sky Sports Mix. Note the channel, note the time. Saturday, back to the NRLW, it's the Raiders Roosters at 10 to 4 in the morning on Sky Sports Arena. And then it'll switch to Sky Sports Mix for the Dragons Eels at 10 past 6. NRLW action will continue into Sunday with the Knights and the Cowboys at 3 a.m. on Arena, same channel at 10 to 5 for the Tigers and the Sharks. And then from the NRL, it's the Bulldogs desperately in need of a victory, as are the Dolphins. 5 a.m. on Action and Main Event. And then the Titans Cowboys will round it all off at 7:05 on Sky Sports Mix. Well, we have kicked off round 20 of the Betfred Super League. We're here at the John Smith Stadium in Huddersfield, and the home side are locked up at 12 points apiece with Hull FC. Both sides have had interesting and, well, I suppose, patches in that first 40 minutes where they have been on top, but there have been plenty of handling errors, plenty of nerves on show, and I suppose evidence of two sides who you can see why are sitting outside presently the top six.
Yeah, absolutely that. It's close because both teams are playing, you know, making as many errors as the other team. Both teams are missing as many tackles. It makes for a really good game, doesn't it, for the neutral and everybody watching on Sky Sports. I don't suppose both coaches are too pleased.
No, absolutely. That was a point made by Tony Smith in his interview with Bill during that first half. Let's have a look at the scores that came in that game. Jake Connor, we identified him before the game, comes up with a huge 40-20 to put Huddersfield in great position.
Yeah, well, I think the boot has been influential in both of Huddersfield. Scores the points. Jake Connor does it exceptionally well. And they get the ball there, shift it to the edge. And again, I said, McQueen, Nagama, and this guy, Jermaine McGilvery, is a big loss in the second half. Comes up with the magic moments.
Yeah, it's a huge play from Jake Connor. I don't think there's a better player in the league, particularly moving that way, Brian, where he's passing the ball left to right. What he does is he's slow dummy. I call it fishing. He's fishing for the centre and the winger to come in. It's a wonderful play from Jake Connor.
OK, talk us through this. How did Jake Clifford get through with relative ease?
He just stamps off that outside foot. He changes his line, gets outside of McQueen, who's looking at Ligisau, and he creates a break, and it's all just about pushing through. See the OFC players pushing through here in Swift. Well, just Jake Connor just comes across, Cookie.
Yeah, I just think that's the side of his game which will take him to the next level. I think for me, a fullback that's, you know, really good positionally makes that tackle. This is really important.
This is a defensive mismatch.
Yeah, there's got 7 players on the right side of the field. Nathan Peets, bless him, you know, he works really hard to get around the corner, and then he comes off not square. He comes off on a 45-degree angle. That's why Truman slips to the inside. Could Joe miscommunication along with Jake Connor? He's in the line, he comes out of the line. So it's just a catalogue of errors there from Huddersfield, but it comes from not getting into the right position defensively.
Some really poor ruck D, but look at this bit of magic, and this is what Huddersfield can do. Some real talented individuals. Tuilola here, there off back at Russell's kicks, and for me that's big difference. I think the metrics are pretty similar for both sides in terms of completions and tackles and kicks. But ultimately, Huddersfield have come up with some really high quality individual moments. All I've seen for me being a better side. They're looking to build a game. You can see what they're trying to do, and when they do it really well through Clifford, Truman, obviously Swift and Fast providing the points.
Maybe who can cut out the errors, who can sharpen up defensively, wins this game. 5 handling errors for Hull FC, 12 missed tackles we have recorded for the Huddersfield Giants. I'm watching that first 40 minutes. I'm no clearer as to who could win this game.
No, I agree with exactly what Tony said just before the break. It's the team who handles this second half better, because what we've seen from both teams is just, you know, they're getting out of position or they're missing that one tackle. Chris McQueen, you might not see miss that tackle again in the next 8 weeks of football, but he misses this one on Clifford, who slices through, and it costs them 6 points. And we've seen a couple of errors from Huddersfield defensively too.
Well, Ian Watson talked about keeping it simple, stripping it back, going back to basics. I've not really seen that from Huddersfield. They haven't done much with the ball, and they're still putting it down the floor. Listen, all I see haven't been great by any means, but you can see through their little bits of dialogue what they're trying to do. The shape's a lot better, and I think it'll build as the game goes on.
I'll tell you what, Jamie, after Jermaine McGilvery opened the scoring for Huddersfield, the game sped up in Hull FC's favour, and they looked dangerous. They scored 2 tries in this period. They look like this would continue. They could kick on from here.
Yeah, and when that fella come on, Sarte, we talked about him, the destruction that he causes. Tony Smith giving him the thumbs up there and rallying him up, telling him what job he's got to do. Because when he's rolling through the middle, you know, those pivots, that spine, the architecture that builds the game, they're better for it.
All right, locked up at 12 points apiece. It's a game, well, it's very important for the context of both of their seasons. It's an important day, of course, for the family of Milford Sutcliffe. Well, he made his debut in 1894 for Huddersfield, heritage number 15. He was just 16 years of age. the chairman of the club, when the team of all talents won all 4 trophies in 2014, 2015. Are they a chance of a trophy in 2023? They'll need to win this one. We got the second half on the way after this.
Milner weighing up the opportunities is Tuilolahea. Jake Connor. Connor fires the pass to McGilvray. McGilvray will bulldoze his way over. Good break and gives the ball to Swift. And Swift has got the pace and he's got the try. 4 tackles gone. Burst of pace from Truman and Fash. Oh, where did he come from? And the flash, Brad Fash has scored a try. Nathan Peets. Russell Little dink into space. Oh, and Tuilolahea chasing. Tuilolahea getting the try.
Well locked up at 12 points apiece here in the opening match of round 20 of the Betfred Super League. First to score with the Huddersfield Giants through Jermaine McGilvray, who has limped off with a hamstring injury. We believe he'll take no further part in this game. Teams are out on the field. Paul Cook, Jamie Jones-Buchanan both tipped Huddersfield before this game. Anyone changing?
No, I'm not changing. I'm sticking with Huddersfield just narrowly.
I swapped back to Old during warm-up, and I'm going to stick with O'Brien.
Well, Hull do love a flying start. They have scored more tries in that 10-minute period just after half-time than anybody else in Super League. Tony Smith would say spot on if they were to do it again. Let's go back to our commentary team for the kick-off in the second half. In a game Huddersfield, you feel, must win, and Hull FC must win to convince themselves and others that they are genuine playoff contenders. Standing by are Terry O'Connor, Barry McDermott and Bill Arthur.
Thank you, Brian. Yep, it is a must-win second half then for Huddersfield and Hull FC as far as their top 6 aspirations go. Certainly Huddersfield, they have a game in hand. You've got to factor that in. They've got to play St Helens at some stage, and even so, they are losing touch with that pack who are hunting the top 6 positions. It is so tight. It's conceivable that some big names might still miss out on a place in the top 6.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? I've never known the Super League table to look like it is and be so close. And every game, like, you'll hear coaches and players talk saying we're not looking past next week, but they are must-win games. Both of these sides need to be smart, be a bit more composed in this second half, and look, just turn the ball over on their terms, but ask enough questions.
And Bill, just going back to that game against St Helens, I think it's been organised for the day after the Challenge Cup final, so Huddersfield Giants will get that rhythm, even though everyone else will have to take a weekend off that's not involved in the cup final. Those 2 teams will be playing.
The kick from Russell, and it couldn't be dealt with by Hull's rear guards.
Didn't look confident under it, Davy Litton. You with a big drive, but pushed over the sideline.
Touch. Go hand over. Just fix there, Marcus. Not even touch. You've got them both competing and coming off you.
Sam Hewitt, well, he gets bundled into touch, and Davy Litton, when that ball goes high in the air, like I said, he just didn't look confident. Plenty more of that coming for him now in the next 40.
Move! Hold out. Hold! Go on.
So Hull FC surviving. Start of the second half. I wonder what the Giants' perspective on how this is going to shape up is. Let's hear from Luke Robinson, assistant coach for the Giants on the sidelines. What needs to be done, Luke?
I think we've got to stop them. Their outside backs skipping to our edges. They just skipped to our edges way too easy and found a little bit of a clink in his armour. So as middles need to control the ruck and, like I say, keep them on inside shoulders.
Neither side has really got a grip of this game, has it yet, Luke?
No, they haven't. It kind of feels like either side wants it. I heard Ted speak earlier. You know, the ones that are a little bit more composed, turn the ball over in the right areas and defend well, will come away with a victory.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you.
As Clifford puts a deep kick in, and it's into the arms of Leroy Cudjoe, who's left the pack by the look of things and reverted to a three-quarter roll.
Yeah, well, he went on the wing soon as Jermaine McGilvray went off. Barry said earlier, he's lucky that he was out there. Hewitt comes in, he goes into the back row.
Here's Kevin Nagama. Let's go down to John Wells and hear about Jermaine McGilvray.
Yeah, Bill, it won't surprise you. He'll play for no further part in this game. It's a hamstring injury. Not overly concerned on the Huddersfield bench, but he's done for the night.
Thanks, John. Well, he has had his injury problems this season as Jermaine McGilvray. Got him back into the side. And now they've lost his services for tonight. Let's hope it's not a season-ending one or anything like that. Here is Matty English. 12 points apiece in this game between the Giants, who are 10th, and Hull FC, who are 9th, and who both still believe that they can figure in the end-of-season playoffs. On this performance, they've got a bit of work to do.
I totally agree with you. A big high kick here. But they have traded sets. That there wasn't many mistakes in that first half, and both sides seem to be getting through. And you've got to take your opportunities when you get down there to your opponent's line.
It tells you something about the mindset of the Giants. Big Joe Greenwood turns round and offers an offload to one of his teammates. Nobody's interested because they want to complete and get to the back end of the sets. So far, Hull FC 9 offloads, Huddersfield Giants only 3.
Very conservative approach then from both these sides.
But that's what I said, Hull the most offloads in Super League. There's a mistake. And Huddersfield have made the fewest offloads in Super League. So you know what you're going to get from either side. And Chris Satter making the error. Luke Yates having a bit of a fun with him, and Adam Milner just getting up. And there's one thing that he can do, Milner, he can defend, and he'll have him in his sights.
We're rightly talking about the contributions for Chris Satai for his side. 14 tackle busts in one game last time out against Castleford Tigers. He's a big man to handle, got terrific acceleration, a nice offload, good leg speed, but it's just sadly lacking tonight. He needs the ball early, he needs to find that mojo again.
Here's Jake Bibby, because Huddersfield have got the ball back after that error from Chris Satai. And an opportunity for them now with Sam Hewitt making his 7th appearance of the season, and he's lost the ball. The ball has come out, and it's come out because he's lost control.
I'd like to have a look at that again. It seemed to come out pretty strongly.
I've just got it lost in collision.
I'm not sure why a player would offload. Let's have a look from this angle. Yeah, there you go. That's been stripped.
Shot clock on.
You know, they're looking at it. Andre Cervello.
And name names.
Andre Cervello had his hand on the ball, and you know, that call goes against you.
Heads in, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Sorry,
5,
Terry.
6. Hold it. Head in, whoa! Just behind the nets. Push it. Yeah, still got 15. Let's get our Reggie
properly. Not going to be drawn.
Head in, Chris
I
McQueen.
thought Scott Taylor was
shot clock off, ball in.
Up to no good in that tackle.
There was a few of them, Bill.
I'll have it back.
Go on.
Here's Adam Swift now, just short of the halfway line.
Move, homie, Sam.
For this whole side, looking for some consistency, as their coach, Tony Smith, said before the game. Just real stop-start performance.
If they can sharpen up with the ball, be a little bit more crisp in attack, then this game is there for the taking. But they keep inviting Huddersfield Giants back in.
Very subdued atmosphere here. Good contingent from Hull. 700 or so have made the journey.
Adam, extra step. Go, fine.
Cater plays the ball. On the last, Truman hoists the kick. McIntosh is chasing, and Jake Connor has lost the ball. Dwyer has picked it up. Dwyer comes back in, and there's an offside in the end against the Hull players.
Well, they're saying that Cam Scott is the man who's offside. You can see he's got his hands up, but he's within the 10 metres of Jake Connor catching the ball. You could just see he stood to the right-hand side. The top of your picture is in front of the man who kicks the ball. He's within the 10 metres. He knows exactly where he is. He tries to pull out of it, puts his hands up. Jake Connor goes up for it, loses it.
Awkward, it says. Jake Connor, when he goes down on the floor, lands very awkwardly. Took a bit of treatment from the physio. Just seeing a bit of anguish and pain on his face.
Here is Yates now, the Huddersfield Giants. Russell. Maddie English up to that Hull FC 40-metre line. The Giants drummer trying to rouse the crowd down below us. Yates playing the ball. Just inside the 30. English. Stopped by Lane and Taylor. Here's Chris Hill. Hill on it comes to Russell. Russell, little kick over the top. Claimed by Bibby. It's the 5th tackle as Bibby goes to ground. Here is Jake Connor. Connor short ball to Chris Hill. Hill trying to spin and get to the line. He's held up just short.
Well, that's some good defence from Hull FC. 4 plays managed to bring Chris Hill down. Quite conservative, the first 4 plays from Huddersfield. Good kick then from Ollie Russell. And then a nice little tip-on play to Chris Hill. Unfortunately, couldn't get the ball away.
I love the creative ambition with the delicate little kick. Obviously, they've spoken about that at half-time, drawing up the defence from Hull FC and trying a nice little chip. It almost came off for Jake Bibby.
Cam Scott now for Hull FC, who survived there. And it remains 12 points apiece. The second half so far, 10 minutes coming up, mainly dominated by Huddersfield Giants, but not been able to do anything constructive with it.
Well, it was the same in that first half, though, Bill. Both sides had patches, 5 and 10 minute spells, but
the ball reaches McIntosh. McIntosh puts his foot down. Russell comes across and makes a good tackle, but no. McIntosh was tackled, says the referee. Russell's in a bit of strife there after that tackle, but he denied McIntosh on the last. Clifford drills a little kick in. Sutcliffe was chasing it. Cudjoe is there to gather the ball for Huddersfield.
It's good commitment from Ollie Russell over on Huddersfield's left-hand side. He's still another player getting treatment just at the top of your screen.
Here's Kevin Nagama. Clifford managing to cling on to him. Russell's, when he was, I think, reaching out to grab McIntosh, he's damaged his wrist by the look of things.
I don't know whether it's his shoulder or... You can see he lunges out. Automatically pulls off, recoils and cradles that arm.
Chris Hill. Hill spun around but manages to get the ball away despite Chris Satai's tackle. And here is Russell. Doesn't seem to be struggling too much. Connor on the last. That is a big, big kick, and Litton manages to get a hold of it at the second, third attempt.
Come back, hold Chris, go on.
Well, like I said, Bill, he's going to be under some pressure, a bit of a juggle with that ball. There was a Hull FC player that's just gone off the field straight up the tunnel. I couldn't quite see who it was, but he looked in some pain. And Ollie Russell straight back into it.
Well, Lovadua is the player that's come on. Try and get some information from the sideline. So the fluency of Hull FC just disrupted.
Here is Joe Cater.
Here, Chris, hold it.
To sense maybe that the pace and the tempo of this game is just upping a little bit.
Yep. Still 4.
Well,
let's go down to the sideline. Sorry, news from John Wells.
Yeah, very quickly, Bill. Liam Sutcliffe looked like a dislocated finger. I was desperate for having to get it put back in at the sideline because it was about 2 metres away from me. But alas, he's gone down the tunnel, Bill.
You're all heart. Here is Jake Clifford. Clifford to Joe Lovadua.
He's sick, never mind all heart.
And that was the last play for Hull FC. That's the turnover. Do you sense that maybe it's just stepping up a bit?
Yeah, well, the desperation's starting
to, hasn't it?
Desperation's starting to creep in. Look, the clock's running down. You're looking to keep your season alive. You've got 28 minutes to go. You've got to keep applying the pressure. Oh, Brad Wyatt. He flies off the line. He's trying to lift the tempo of the game, give that enthusiasm in defence of cutting him down and you know, like inspiring his teammates to do the same on the next play. Unfortunately, goes before the ball's played, and he's penalised for it.
That's one of the things on his job description, isn't it? Energy and enthusiasm. When you come on, lift the team. It talks about handling the bench, and the Giants had to do a real number. Well, If you think about the contributions of Dwyer and specifically Chris Satte, I think they've done a pretty good job so far.
Brad Dwyer had a brief spell here back in 2013, a loan spell, made 6 appearances. It's Huddersfield, though, on the back of the penalty he conceded with an opportunity, and Chris Hill taking him with him. Chris Hill driving it towards that Hull FC line, and still battling to play the ball. Nathan Peets trying to drive his way through, but he is stopped. Taylor and Dwyer there. Russell flings the pass out to Tui Lolohea. Lolohea, Connor, Nagama stepping past one. Bounces off Satai. Lovadua can't bring him down. He was tackled, says the referee. Go back and play the ball. So Nagama plays it. 4 tackles gone this set. Here is Tui Lolohea again. Russell flings it to Connor. The pass too strong for Sam Halsall, and out of play it goes.
Well, they knew that they had them for numbers. I think there was a defensive error from Andre Savelio. Look at him, you could just see he jams in the number 11. And with Russell and Connor, they know that there's going to be some space out wide. As soon as Savelio goes in, the centre and the winger have got to follow. Jake Connor realises that, but unfortunately can't get the pass away.
Look, I know it's early. We've got a long way to go in the game, but I mentioned it just before half-time. It's still worth the same amount of points. Get a drop goal. Edge yourself further in front, edge yourself in front by one, and it will just psychologically give you the edge as well.
You'd think Huddersfield would be conscious of that, because they've been in so many close games. They've lost no fewer than 5 tense matches by 6 points or less, 3 of them by 2 points or less.
Exactly. And there are a number of players who can drop a goal. Russell, Lolohea, Jake Connor, to name but 3.
Huddersfield's looking for an intercept there, but
Leroy Kudjoy pulls the trigger, doesn't he? Comes in to close the play down on Jordan Lane and just cops him a touch too high for the referees liking Aaron Moore. Hull FC will be able to get some good distance on this kick here. Just earned themselves 30 metres from that tackle from Leroy Kudjoy.
Still 12 points apiece, as it was when this second half kicked off. Here is Joe Lovadua now. Nathan Peets managing to stop him, but this is a great position for the black and whites now. Their supporters at that end of the ground, urging them on. It's about 10-12 metres away. Dwyer, here is Clifford, Lovadua, McQueen stops him in his tracks. Yates down low.
Go first.
3 tackles gone. Clifford only comes to Savelio, but Bibby is all over him. Truman's pass, and then Savelio turns the tables.
Russell riding Savelio like a Blackpool donkey.
Here is Lingy Sow now. Sow straightening up, then smuggles the ball out to Clifford, but Clifford is all wrapped up. Scrambling defence from the Huddersfield Giants. 5th tackle.
Go 5.
The ball back with Truman. Truman drills a little kick in. It comes off Chris Hill, and it's snapped up by Luke Yates.
What great work ethic those 2 players have. Well, he sticks his foot out just in case he can get a ricochet, Chris Hill. And who's the first player on the ball? The ever-dependable Luke Yates.
So Huddersfield survive that pressure from Hull FC. Up to the halfway line. Yates wearing his colours. Well, he's such a committed player. Oh, Swift almost pitched that ball.
I tell you what, both of these sides are inviting their opponents to, you know, intercept the ball. They're playing it long instead of going short. Lola here at the line. Well, Swift gets that. It's a try. Dangerous players, but they're rolling the dice.
Time off. Bring the comms guy.
Huddersfield did knock that ball. Chris McQueen knocked the ball into Adam Swift. So the black and whites will get the ball. And the fans frustrated. There's a communication issue with the referee, but there you see it. Chris McQueen, he's an expert, Chris McQueen, at catching the ball just before contact. Sometimes he's in the defensive line of his opposition. He's dropped a few tonight. Jimmy Jones-Buchanan talked about his form. Scored a try in the last home game.
The first one's off you into Adam Swift.
Does a lot of work defensively and with the ball as well. And I talked about the Giants putting pressure on those edge defenders for the black and whites. Well, they've handled it so far. Just over 20 minutes to go.
So to the anger of the Huddersfield supporters, Hull FC gets that scrum feed and get possession on the halfway line. Chris Satai bounces off the first, gets a short pass away to Joe Lavadua. That's the story of the game. McGilvery opening the scoring. Hull FC having a brief purple patch. Swift and Fash with the tries. And then Lolohea levelling the scores, and that's how it has stayed.
Yeah, for the last 30 minutes, Bill, there's not been any points scored. So, like Barry's saying, that the closer we get into 80 minutes, sooner or later, someone's going to have to start going for 1 point.
Well, maybe they're going to go for a full set here as Truman is tackled. That's the fifth. Dwyer running, gets the pass away to Chris Satai. Satai offloads to Lingy Sao. Lingy Sao for a moment it seemed to open up for him, but I think he couldn't work out which way he was facing, I think.
Do you know, both of the sides, when you look at either end where they've been defending their own try line, they're desperate, they're turning up. You know, they're having a real crack. They just can't quite do the last thing or the correct thing on the last play to get over the line.
And that's why the 1 point would change the mentality of whoever it goes against. For me, it's like being on a roulette table and putting it on black or red. You're going to get that drop goal. You're going to nudge the scoreboard over. And at the minute, if it's a roulette table, they're trying to find the right number.
More news from the sidelines, John.
Well, you made me feel awful about wanting to see Liam Sutcliffe's finger.
Oh, hang on, 40-20. Litton has denied him. Sorry, John.
Yes, so I went and to see how he was. For those unfamiliar with the term, go on a search engine later. He was de-gloved. I'll leave that with you.
Doesn't sound good. This is digital, of course. I think it was gory. Not for the faint-hearted. Another 40-20 attempt, maybe. Clifford, but Connor nonchalantly gives the ball to Sam Hewitt, who's greeted by the kicker. And Russell not liking.
Very aggressive from Jake Clifford there, wasn't it?
Ollie Russell didn't like Clifford's impact there.
You've got to keep your composure, haven't you? We're just going into the final quarter. Everybody's a bit tetchy. It's close, it's tight.
Tetchy.
Keep your discipline, boys.
That's a good description.
Tetchy.
Stand up. Go third. Still third.
Oliver Wilson sent back where he came from.
Get square.
Halfway line.
Go four.
Final quarter of the game beckoning. 12 points apiece it remains.
5. Move. Stand up.
Ollie Russell.
Go 5.
Kicks down the sideline. And Litton judges it well.
He'll be disappointed with that, Ollie Russell. They'll get 7 tackles now instead of 6 because the ball's gone out of play dead, just overcooked it. And I think it's the 3rd or 4th tackle. Ollie Russell's turned round and had a right go at Jake Bibby and Sam Alto for not pushing up on a short side play. I've been saying right the way through this game, you've got to take your opportunity and your chances and be on the beat with every time one of your teammates gets the ball and goes at the line.
3 words. Compete for everything.
Dwyer has lost that ball. Wilson picks it up. First to react. Hull FC turn over possession just inside their own half. Here is McQueen, who's had a pretty quiet night, Chris McQueen, by his standards. 3 tries in the last 2 games. This is Dwyer losing the ball. Here is Luke Yates now. And Huddersfield looking to capitalise after that Hull FC error. Connor, here is Bibby now. Bibby gets the ball away to Halsall. Tries to cut in field. He is brought down. 3 tackles gone. Russell, here is Chris Hill now. Hill. Another strong run. Nathan Peets. Connor, little kick from Connor, and it's straight into the arms of Truman.
I can't believe that with all that rugby league IQ in the Huddersfield ranks, nobody's thinking about a drop goal. And then they compound it and give a penalty away.
Leg pull. He's holding it back.
Well, that's it. You give that penalty away, you're probably looking around, and Jake Connor calls for that ball. He overcalls Ollie Russell and Tuilola here on the right-hand side.
Stay behind.
They give the penalty away, turns around and says, "What for, ref?"
Wait for me. Hold it, boys, hold it.
So that penalty takes Hull FC to their own 30-metre line. Here is Andre Cervello now.
Oh, Sam Hewitt pulls away from that, doesn't he? Big collision with Andre Cervello, hits the ground.
Yeah, he's wobbling on the halfway line. I think it's Morag. Oh, Fash. Clifford does well to retrieve it. Davy Litton.
Hold it, hold. Go to.
Here is Joe Lavadua now.
Well, just trying to shake it off. The physio's just still trying to see how he is, but when he's picked up a bit of a stinger, the arm's gone up, and the physio saying he's okay, he doesn't want to go off the field.
Houghton. Marginal, that's Cervello.
Find me. Hold it, boys. Go for.
Just goes in, you can see, pulls away.
Still for.
Well, that's already bandaged, isn't it? That's that elbow. That's just too strong, that kick. Mucho keeping an eye on it.
Make it back, Chris.
Well, again, we have got 2 very, very nervous sides here.
Techi, nervous.
You know, you're probably starting to look round now at your teammates, at your big guns who's paid the big bucks, saying, right, give us a bit of direction. What do you want from me? Where do you want me to set up? Who are we after? Don't forget what the game plan going into this game was. That's what you do. You play off the back of powerful charges like that from Wilson.
Good run from Ollie Wilson, that was.
See, and again, Chris Hill, another big charge. Those big charges, that's 30 metres that they've gained.
And now off the back of that, here comes Luke Yates. Are they setting up here, maybe?
Hold, mate, hold.
Huddersfield Giants. Peets goes on his own.
Hold it.
Russell. Back it comes to Tuilola here. The kick comes, but it's across field, and it's not a great one. Although it's going to almost sit up for Huddersfield, but Lollahea himself couldn't take the ball.
Right, well, they get to the kick, they make a mistake. You can see Ian Watson saying, look, you've got to get tight, let's get tight in. Let's try and force an error. The blueprint for either side, like what Ollie Wilson did, like what Chris Hill did, followed by Yates, run hard, try and make an impact, put a dent in the line.
Together! Hold!
But then they haven't got the end product.
Hold it, hold it, hold.
After a good build-up like that. Here's Darnell McIntosh.
Move! Go to. Nathan's good.
Now Brad Dwyer. Dwyer back on the inside.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and Dwyer and Yates had an almighty collision there.
These are 2 desperate sides, aren't they? You can see bodies being flung all over the place, and that desperation isn't always a bad thing. If you can channel it in the right direction, it makes you make that extra effort.
And that's what I'm saying, Baz, you can't doubt the commitment for either set of players. Luke Yates has stayed down. He collided with Brad Dwyer. There's bodies flying in from everywhere. You don't want to be the weak link in your defensive line. You want to make sure you turn up with your teammate. That's where the coming together was. Enough bodies in motion. And Jake Connor having a little crack with I think it was Brad Dwyer, and Ian Watson knows that this game is that tight. Having a few words now with Sam Halsall, what he's after, what he wants from him.
You'd like to think that those key players for the Huddersfield Giants and the Hull FC team are just having a little communication. There's Tony Smith speaking to Liam Sutcliffe. Maybe we might see him get back on the field. But it
takes a lot to put Luke Yates down.
Yeah,
and
they
keep him
would
out
be
of the game.
desperate to keep him on the field. He's up to 42 defensive efforts. He's definitely wobbly.
Yeah, like you said, he's tough, isn't he? Oh, he just gets caught. It's Jake Clifford goes over the top of him.
Yeah, and Chris McQueen's there to add to the pressure.
For anybody that doesn't know, it's immense to do 42 tackles in what we had there, 65 minutes. We've been carefully watching his tackle count. If he'd have got over 50, it would have been the 6th occasion in 2023 that he'd done such a number. It doesn't look like he'll do it.
It's probably not surprising they're a bit hesitant about going for a drop goal, because they've got one between them this season, and that was Jake Connor in the Giants' defeat at Leeds, 17-18.
But is that because they can't do it, or is that because they're not thinking about it? I think it's the latter.
Well, somebody's got to.
Brad, give 10. Brad Fash.
Clifford's launched that one.
Play on.
And Sam Halsall did well there.
Yeah, well dealt with at the back.
Not square, Cam.
I think Cam Scott then, he wasn't square, but you can see he's just struggling where the cramp's starting to set in.
They've had, of course, a weekend off, these players, since their last outing, both of which they won. In fact, they've both won the last 2 games. They're both looking for 3 in a row.
Do you know, there's a feeling, and last weekend it was the Challenge Cup semi-finals, a do-or-die game. This has a feeling that's very similar to a playoff game, doesn't it? Both teams know the significance of a win. I absolutely get the run as hard as you can, but you can't do it on your own. Take somebody with you and take a leaf out of Hull FC's book.
Connor will launch another high kick. This one doesn't get great distance on it, and it comes off swift and back into Lollaheya's hands and out of play. Nagama was to his right, but the pass was behind Nagama.
And again, the clock's against both sides. Tumi Lollaheya gets the ball. It's a blind little pass in it, just expecting him to be on his shoulder.
Ooh. I think it's Huddersfield's ball, you know, Tez. The Giants players were claiming, as soon as that ball goes into touch, claiming to the referee, Aaron Moore, that there was a hand from a Hull FC player. He consulted his touch judge, and the Giants are going to get this ball.
It looks like Cam Scott has actually left the field, and I think it might be Jordan Lanes filling in on the right centre.
Heads in, boys.
So a bit of a reshuffle for Hull FC.
Shot clock off.
So head and feed to Huddersfield. 20 metres out. Big opportunity. Oh, big opportunity. Almost goes begging the ball. Went backwards. It's still going backwards. It's almost gone backwards to the halfway line. And Halsall it is who gathers it up. Well,
there's a penalty.
Oh dear me.
Well, Jake Truman just whacked the ball out of the hands of the Huddersfield player. They'd earned all them meters then. It was like Keystone Cops, what was going on, and then to give the penalty away like that.
Wow.
Like,
he's better than that.
Yeah.
12 minutes to go. That is the last thing you need.
Hold it, boys. Hold it.
They've taken them back. Virtually.
They've gone back 40 metres.
Exactly. Well, there could be a price to pay for that. Because Huddersfield are coming again. Russell, here is Hill, and Hill for McQueen. McQueen has said he'd had a quiet night. So far, he's come to life as Chris McQueen. And Hull FC do pay the price for a moment of hot-headedness, which cost them a penalty and ultimately cost them a try. A try from Chris McQueen into double figures for the season.
and it was so simple in the end.
Well, Chris McQueen, he was first on the scoreboard last week for Huddersfield. Comes off the back of that man's error, giving the penalty away. And it was just uncalled for. Like Barry said, he's a better player than that. It's a brain explosion. Ian Watson just saying, look, let's calm down. Let's just keep on playing, but keep calm. Let's play with our heads. And what a line. He does hit good lines. And that's poor defence from Cater, and I think it's Clifford. But you've got to keep turning up. He hits those hard lines out wide. Outstanding play.
Well, Bill, you talked about Chris Hill. The work, the effort, the time he's spent in the front row, all those hard meters he has made. He won't have given many soft hands, many delicate passes, many try-scoring passes, match-winning passes in his career. But that's one out of the top draw. Run hard, with support, find your support player, and Chris McQueen steps forward and looks like he may well have won it for the Giants, but there may well be a twist in the tail yet.
Well, Chris McQueen, 10 for the season. That's 4 tries in the last 3 games for him. Another of the 35-year-olds out there. He'll be 36 next month, in actual fact, will Chris McQueen. Ollie Russell, 2 from 2. And Huddersfield in sight now of what could be a crucial victory for them. Still holding out hope that they can climb the table and make a bid for a top 6 place. They do have a game in hand, of course, as we've mentioned. And this one not over yet.
Time back on.
18 points to 12. The Giants lead. There is time for Hull FC to respond.
Chris McQueen pushes up, gets his just rewards. I absolutely love this. A forward using his brain, not just his brawn, and just tips it on to a player whose commitment and strong hard line is rewarded. And the celebrations, well, they know they're in the box seat, but they will also know that this game is far from over.
Halsall, McIntosh came hurtling over the top of him.
Well, McIntosh saying that he was diving on the ground. He got the ball and he was just trying to get to the ground because he knew what was coming. It was good play from Halsall. Had to be brave then.
Yeah, urgency from Hull FC now. And they need some urgency. The time is running out for them. Let's go downstairs to John again.
Yeah, used all 8 subs, Hull FC, and, well, despite that, if they had more, they wouldn't have anybody to bring on. No available players, so the last 9 minutes, 8.5 minutes are with the men they've got.
They are up against it here.
Still 4.
Tuilola Heya. And the referee will penalise Hull FC for a high tackle there.
And that's what happens when big men do bigger minutes. They start making defensive mistakes, not just in tackling technique, but decisions as well. You can see a lunging arm there. Just catches Tuilola here. And the Giants now would do a lot worse than pepper that middle, make those big men do effort on effort.
Samoan international Lingy Sao with the tackle on Tongan international Tuilola Heya. And here is Mackie English.
You could see Huddersfield setting up for the 1 point here. They get a 1 point and they take it out to 2 scores then.
They're home and dry.
Yeah, I don't think Hull have got 2 scores in them in this game.
Move, find space. Find space, Brad, extra step.
Maybe some sound thinking being applied here.
Jake Connor's just loitering at the back of the play the ball. He might get his 2nd of the season.
Matty English, 3 tackles gone. Back it comes to Russell, and Russell goes for it. And Russell succeeds. Right on cue. Ollie Russell lands his first drop goal of the season. and puts the game surely beyond Hull FC now.
I think Hull FC were all thinking what I was thinking. Jake Connor would step forward in the big moment, but it comes down to Ollie Russell, who has been the most consistent halfback in the Huddersfield Giants shirt all year, and I feel like my predecessor, Steve-O, have spent the last 20 minutes calling for a one-pointer.
We go short here. It's Sam Houseall again. Well, he's dealt with a lot, hasn't he? He comes forward, gets that big call from him to get hold of that ball.
Sam Houseall, the former Wigan winger. And the Huddersfield supporters sensing that their side is on their way to a third victory in a row. A victory that can still keep their hopes of a playoff place alive.
And just a big shout out. Chris Hill is leaving the field for the Huddersfield Giants. Usually averages 109 metres. Well, during this game, he's done 1-2-7, the big fella, as well as providing the try scorer and the match-winning pass.
Massive effort. Greenwood, though, has lost the ball, and Hull FC have it back. McIntosh flicks it out the back, and Houghton was alive to the opportunity. Lingy Sao, Greenwood brings him down. That's the 5th tackle.
Tight space, Lingy. 0-0.
Back into the middle of the field. I don't know where I got 5th tackle from. 3rd. Set restart, in actual fact, and here is Andre Cervello. Cervello looking for somebody.
Well, he was telling Joe Cater to drop underneath him. And Joe Cater didn't react to what he wanted.
Here's Danny Houghton. The crowd thought that was forward. The referee thought so too.
Well, it was helped by the fans in the stands, wasn't it? Danny Houghton, well, he doesn't get them wrong.
I'm not so sure.
Well, I think it just drifts forward. The ball from Brad Twidey, playing with 2 hookers now on the field in Danny Houghton and Brad Twidey. Want them quick ruck speeds, both for them to exploit.
Wyatt still shaking his head.
The cowbell army, you can just see a couple of cowboys being cowbells. They might be cowboys, we don't know. And there's a contrast. The travelling black and white fans know that unless something drastic happens in the last 5 and a bit minutes, they could be going home with a loss.
They haven't seen their side at their best tonight, the Hull FC fans. Tony Smith down on the sideline was looking for an improvement in the second half, but they haven't managed that. It's 12-all at the restart. It's 19-12 now into the last 5 minutes, and Huddersfield are finishing strongly. Here is Nathan Peets. Houghton wrestling with him.
Playing for a penalty then. We thought that Danny Houghton was offside.
Goal 5.
5th tackle. Here is Matty English, and English is driving for the line. Cannot get that ball down, or can he? I think he was held up. Well, that's a matter for Jack Smith to decide. No try, says Aaron Moore.
I've got no try.
It's tackle 5, we've got no try on field. Could you just check grounding, please?
I'll speak to you in a minute. I'll speak to you in a minute.
Can't see the ball at this point from English. See the ball there, and then we lose it behind his leg. Keep rolling this through on the same angle, see if we ever see the ball. Right, we're not seeing the ball there. Can we see a different angle, please? The ball always appears up there. Have we got any other angles? Just make sure I check all available angles. And we lose the ball on that one as well. Is that all the angles that we've got available? This won't be our final angle. Oh. You've got an extra. Yeah, I'll have the last replay then. Just check the last angle, please. Just make sure we've checked them all. And we lose the ball on that angle. Thank you, I made my decision.
Well, there's nothing there that can contradict Aaron Moore's verdict. And Matty English didn't get that ball down. So he's denied, at least I think that's the case, it is Jack Smith's verdict.
It's a handover.
Well, big play, wasn't it, from Liggy Sallon and Davy Litton.
Wait for me.
Just deny that man the try, which would have been a way to finish this game.
A reward for second half domination from the Giants, really. I mean, they've had much the better of it, haven't they, in the second 3 minutes. They've deserved this lead that they've got.
They've been very good. It's come down to one play, like Barry said before. It was the pass from Chris Hill to Chris McQueen. That was the difference, really.
Here is Adam Swift.
Still up.
Scored that sparkling try in the first half. I mean, that was really Hull's best part of the game, wasn't it? Swift and Fash scoring.
Still third in the back.
And they haven't been able to build on that. Here is Davy Litton. And it's Oliver Russell's 5th drop goal for the Giants, and his first since the Magic victory over Hull at Anfield in 20 points to 19. 55 points to 2, that was. Little chip kick.
And there is Ollie Russell. I think it's Jamie Jones-Buchanan picking tonight's player of the match. He'd have to go pretty close, Ollie Russell, the way he's controlled the game and allowed the 2 players alongside him, Tuilola here and Jake Connor, to express themselves and give them the time and space on the ball that they need. And he's just done his job and allowed everyone else to play that little bit better.
Chris Hill, a strong candidate.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So Huddersfield's 10th in the table, game in hand. Next up for them, the Castleford Tigers away next Friday. And building a bit of momentum, Ian Watson's side. Here is Greenwood, Hull FC. Next up for them, Wakefield at home and Wigan away.
You see that then, the little wave of the hand from Nathan Peets. I think Tuilola here called for it over on the right-hand side, but he knew what was getting set up for Ian Watson over on the left from Russell. Look, let's find the sideline. Let the clock go down. Sometimes, Bill, you've got to win ugly games, and this is exactly what Huddersfield have done in this game. And there's what the next 5 fixtures look like for Huddersfield. Cass, Saints, Salford, Leeds, Lee. They'll be looking forward to those.
No, 5 of Huddersfield's remaining 9 matches are at home. They've got Salford, Leeds, Hull KR and Warrington to come here. And that's Hull's route ahead. Tough games in there and winnable games as well. But they'll need to be better for that to happen. Clifford, McIntosh, and Bibby intercepts. It was tantalising for Jake Bibby. And Jake Connor enjoying the moment.
He knows how to get under the skin of everybody, doesn't he?
Oh.
Here is Leroy Cudjoe, closing seconds then of this contest, which was so evenly balanced at half-time, 12 points apiece. Little kick ahead, McQueen will chase, and Litton comes across and gathered that ball to deny maybe Chris McQueen a second try of the night. Final action of the game sees Huddersfield Giants almost extending their leads. They've done enough. They've put a dent in Hull FC's hopes of climbing the table to make a challenge for the top 6, and they've done their own hopes of featuring in the end of season playoffs. It might be a long shot, but Huddersfield have done their hopes a power of good here tonight, and Ken Davey enjoying another victory for his side. 3 in a row now for the Huddersfield Giants. Can they yet make up ground on the sides above them? They've won this one by 19 points to 12.